are here on this beautiful Thursday, and we're excited about all the great things that are happening with our business and also how things are going. I think I'll start off with our conversation last week. We were talking a lot about travel and the different ways you can use our business to share it with other folks. And there was a question that was left out there about the 7-day night stay only being for a year. And it's true. If you go into the back office and you read that, it does say that it's only valid for the first year. So when the new people come on board, after they complete their first year of consecutive payments on their membership, they then will be entitled for one 7-day night stay. But I did call because I wanted to know about the folks who's been in for a while before they put that plan in place. And the answer that I received was, as of now, we're still good to go. As of now, if you have weeks in the hopper, we'll say, and you haven't requested your weeks, they're still there. And as the years count down, you should still be getting a week. Now, when that changes, I'll be the first one to let you know. But right now, that's how it is. So if you have, because that was my main concern, I wanted to make sure, because Rick and I have a couple of websites, so we always double up, so we'll always have 2 7-day night stay when our time clicks over for a year. So I wanted to make sure we weren't going to be losing those, because if so, I was like, send me all of my certificates now. And of course, the way it works is when you request your certificate, they order them and then they mail it out on the 1st and the 15th. So if you request yours on the 2nd, you won't receive it till, UPS after the 15th, and the same for if you request it anywhere after the 15th, around the 16th, 18th, so on, you won't get it until the beginning of the next month. So I was fine with just letting us our certificates sit right there, because I know that now when I'm ready to order them, I can still get them. And I did not want to order all of them, because when you order them, they have a date, an expiration date. And you did not want to order them. And then, if you're not using all 4 of them within the next year or 2, then they would expire. So it was really important to know that. So I just said, okay, great, just hold mine. If anything changes, let me know. And we want all of our 7-day night stay, because we would have no problem using them all before the deadline. The last one I received last year in 2023, because I haven't requested any one from 2024, and I received the expiration date on that one was the 25th, 2025. So I thought, oh yeah, I know I'll get rid of that one between now and then, and probably order others. But it's always good to have information. That's why it's always good to go in your back office when something pops up. The same thing with this price agency. I did sign up. I did the email, and then I received a letter telling me to create a password. And then I went in there, and it's a booking engine is what it is. And I played around, and I did see that some of the hotels was cheaper than Expedia and, Priceline, all those other people. But I didn't compare it to ours, because I would rather just go directly to my site and get the reward credits or get the commission if I went to my Travmanity site. So it's up to you guys. For our site, it was almost sometime close, just a few dollars on the membership. So I did compare it that way. But I did think, oh, well, no matter what, I would still go to my site and book as opposed to going there. I think it's more for if you have clients that you're working for and they don't get the big discounts like the other big I wanted to say big box stores, but the other big booking engines that are out there, they don't give them a discount, whereas our Vortex does, and then now you can use Price Agency to get them a better discount, because some of the hotels were slashed and they did have a nice little discount for them to use. So I thought that was good if you wanted to do that, if you were doing the whole booking kind of thing, that's something to use. But I really wanted everybody to know about the 7-day night stay, because that was a hot topic last week. And so I don't think you should worry about your numbers of your certificate. However, the question is, if you've been in for a while and you do not see your numbers anymore, the countdown of, ours read, I think the last time I looked at mine, it said 52/24. So of course, or 12, 52/12. So then I would divide 12 by the 52 to see how many weeks I have available or how close I am to the next one that I'll be available for. So if that's not there, you might want to send a support ticket in and find out what's going on. But if it's there, I would kind of understand that you're good right now, you're grandfathered in. But if you want peace of mind, you can always send a support ticket in so you can know for a matter of fact on your website that you're still going to be receiving your 7-day night stay every 12 consecutive months that you're paying for your membership. Because it never hurts to ask and know firsthand what that, and another thing too, if we all start asking the question, then the company will have to say point blank, put it in writing, that we are or not still grandfathered in for the 7-day night stay. I know Rick made a good point of putting a value on it, and by only allowing people one 7-day night stay the first year they're in the business, then it kind of puts a value on it for them, to an incentive to get them to use it. I was surprised to hear the small percentage of folks not using their 7-day night stay after I talked to the home office, and I could not believe how many people were not taking advantage of that 7-day night stay, not realizing all the different places that you can go. And even for us, when we went to Steamboat Springs, that was a complete townhome, full 1-bedroom townhome, balcony, everything. And so there are so many. And then someone last week when we were doing the training, she explained how she went to Vegas on hers and how great it was. And we just saw on what's that, Miami Beach, another one opened up. We're just about 8-hour drive from that to go for 7 days and kind of buy your groceries and hang out on the beach and just relax. And all you're doing is paying for your gas or your flight to get there, and then your food while you're there. That's a really nice vacation. But everybody doesn't know that. And everybody doesn't know that once you order your certificate, there is an expiration date on it. And so there's things that people just don't know. I don't know if they don't want to be responsible for knowing, or don't realize that it's there, or when they came on board, somebody didn't really explain it to them. But it's really, really a great deal. So I know we're close to, I don't remember when. I don't know when it is. I really don't know when it is. But when they will be doing their international trip to, I think it's Cancun. But so that's coming up real soon too. But I'm excited about all the other great things that are happening in our company. And then Rick is doing that whole professional training on Sunday nights. So that another one of those are coming up. And we're looking at, I think Rick's looking at we're having a lady who's doing the taxes. And she bought it from, I forget that gentleman's name. I don't know, Rick, if you remember or want to share. But she'll be doing it on Sunday, this coming Sunday on Bond's Call. And what he's going to request everybody to do, because in your back office, Scott does a great job of talking a little bit about taxes. And of course, he puts the disclaimer out there that he will not be available. I mean, we are not tax experts, so you definitely want to talk to your tax accountant. But we do have the Scott said a little bit about what we can and cannot do with our taxes in our own home-based business. So we're right at that season. You know, taxes are hot right now. It's coming up. We only have a certain amount of weeks left, just weeks, not even, I think months, maybe 1 month and some weeks that we have left in order to get those taxes up and running. But it's always good now to know, and then definitely getting the record keeping done, being ready to do it next year if you've already completed it this year. And it's always great to know. I know now that we've changed states, I was able to still talk to my tax accountant in Colorado, and they are still able to do my federal and my state for down here. So it's going to be interesting this year because I'm doing, you know, like 8 months in the Springs, Colorado, and then the other months here over in South Carolina. So that's going to be interesting. So I have to really give them a call, and I have a few questions to ask before I send in my taxes to them. But, and when having a business, you can do it. I did our taxes maybe for the first year we had a business, and then it became a lot of money, and I did not want to lose anything. I wish I had the lady now as opposed to the lady I had then, because the lady who I had then, she was not good at all, and she ended up causing us to lose money because she didn't really understand a home-based business. And then the lady that I use now, she was able to correct everything. She got us up to par. And so I really like them, and we make money back every year now. And but you figure if you don't have the right person doing your taxes, and even if you're doing it yourself and you're not a tax accountant, you're really losing out, because there's a lot of things that we tend to miss and not deduct that if we were a trained tax accountant, we would know what to do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was really important from our call last week, and kind of wrapping that up so we'll all understand how that all works with the 7-day night stay, and then getting excited because I know Chantel had mentioned taxes would be a real good thing to talk about, especially around this time of year, because a lot of people don't take their deductibles. And when you don't take your deductibles from owning a home-based business, you're losing money. Even if you make money back, you probably could have made more back by taking the deductions by having your own home-based business. Because even paying your $99 a month, that is a deduction because that's your paying for your website to have that up and running. So all of those little things a professional will be able to tell you. I remember my, Debbie is her name, who we work with, and she was sharing with me how even if I got my nails done before I went on vacation, the day before I went on vacation, and the day that I came back, I can deduct that. And I would have never known that if she hadn't told me. So sometimes I would remember to do it, and then sometimes I would forget. But being able to do that,
Brent.
something like that is a big deal. Yes, go right ahead.
You know, what a lot of folks don't understand is, and they're waiting by the mailbox for their tax refund every year, is that they're giving you what's left over after they've taken their cut. You know, that money you
Yes.
get, you paid. You paid. Go ahead, back to you.
No, that's true. And you figure every because, you know, we all had that question, who the heck is FICA and why are they taking all my money out of my paycheck? You know, when we all first started working, that was one of the first questions that we asked. It's like, I don't know, FICA, who's FICA? You know, and why does FICA get so much money? But that's the federal government, and that is so true, Glenn. They are taking their money out, and the whole year they are collecting interest on your money, and then they decide to give you back what quote unquote you're entitled to. But I remember listening to this one speaker say one time, and he said, the best way that you, oh, what did he say? The best way for you to have done it was to have zero, where you owe them nothing and they owe you nothing. And then that way they didn't hold your money and you didn't keep, you didn't not give them theirs. So I thought that was interesting. But I went, nah, I like the idea of getting money back, even though I know they've just been holding it for a whole year for me. But it's really interesting how the whole system works. Anybody else? All righty. So I thought that was really interesting.
You did a great job
Yes.
summarizing, everything that you just talked about. And yes, for Sunday, we've got Sandra Lynch coming on. And I don't know if anybody was on Ron Mueller's tax presentation back in 2022, I think. And was very good. Was anybody on with Ron Mueller? Okay, yes, you were. Yeah, he passed away. He passed away. And a year or so ago, maybe a couple years ago. And he sold his business to Sandy Lynch. And so, one of the ideas that I had is I was going to contact Ron to have him come back on and kind of update his presentation. I still have the slides from his presentation. And so I was going to have him update those slides. And so then I got an email that he had passed away, and that Sandy Lynch is buying his business from his family. And so I called her this past week, and I was just telling her about what we were looking to do in getting the information that Ron had passed to us previous. And I've got to give her a call back, but I'd mentioned to her what I'd like to see is a short presentation on bookkeeping 101. A lot of folks come into business and have no idea, how to set things up, if necessary. Some people will, some people won't. But bookkeeping 101, and then the second point was preparing for your taxes and the record keeping and receipts and all that stuff in making preparation for the season that is, like you said, Brenda, just around the corner. And then the third point was getting some pointers from the presentation that Ron had put together that talked about, here are the 6 biggest deductions that you have in the travel business, which was mind-opening to me, especially when you start talking about medical and the medical write-offs, that whatever you're paying for the dental and medical, and I'm like, whoa. And most people
That was huge.
wasn't that huge?
And the PT that we got to write off, people don't have any clue.
They do.
Amazing.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about that because I paid a lot of money for that physical therapy. And I was like, whoa, but it was all mostly before the new year kicked in. So I was like doing my little dance. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. We about to come off. Yes, yes. Yes.
And so I still have that presentation, of course, so I was asking her if she could update that presentation. And but they talked about travel, they talked about meals deductions and vehicle deductions and business use of your home, hiring your minor kids, and health care tax deductions, which I believe that's the largest area right there. Healthcare tax deductions. And but all those coming together, equaling about $35,000 to $50,000 of deductions. And we talk to people in the business, and they just business as normal. They don't even keep their records, receipts. They don't even come in at the beginning of the year with an understanding that, this business is a tax write-off. It would be benefit me to take a look even for myself Google research, what are allowables for having a home-based business? What are allowable deductions for having a home-based business? Like you had mentioned, Brenda, yes, our accountant, the first one, she didn't know nothing. She was very afraid. If you have a scary accountant, you may want to get rid of them and get someone that understands, you know, business and being in business for yourself and home-based business in particular. But our second accountant, she's bold as a lion. She says, no, you are entitled to this, 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 and this. And like Brenda said, we do well every tax season. But yeah, so in getting Sandy, at first when I found out that she wasn't Ron and Ron had passed away, I was a little hesitant. And then I said, well, Lord, and we just started having a marketplace ministry discussion. So, she's in marketplace ministry. And I was like, wow, you step out, you just never know what God is doing. Because he connects people. I don't know if you know this, and I know everybody on this call actually does. But he connects people. And the
Hey, Rick.
web, go right ahead.
Hey, I was just going to add to that. All you really have to do is go straight to the IRS website. It tells you everything. Put in the search what you're looking for, cover your bases, do an investigation on what you can write off, what you can't. They tell you everything on a platform, and it's free. And then that way, when you get your taxes done, you can go to your accountant, whoever you use and trust, keyword trust, and has your benefits, in mind, and compare and remind them, hey, what about this? What about this? If they miss something, it's your
good.
money, cover your bases. Knowledge is power, but also knowledge is freedom. Cover your bases, and it's
And
right
you have
there.
to.
It surprised me how open the code is. All you gotta do is go to the website and do a search on what you're looking for in your state, and you find out everything. There's no guesswork.
Wow. Amen. Amen. And so I'm going to put out an email. I'm going to put out a notification. Did you have something, Chantel?
That's what got us going. And thanks for stepping in there, Ed, because I know you mind your business, and Jason also were very serious about those tax benefits and the benefits that you receive by taking the reins on your business and doing that research. And so we hired this tax professional organization, and they messed up our taxes so bad. That's the year we were on the bus getting to the convention. Hello. Because this person went in here and did what she wanted to do, and we had everything right there, and we had already pretty much laid it out for her, and then she went and did, and we ended up having to pay. I was like so heated. Anyway, that got us to minding our own business a little better and taking hold of that, and going in there and learning that part of the profession and cleaning up the mess that she had made. It took us, Lynn can tell you, it took a minute to get that cleaned up, but we finally did. It was like more than 1 year, and it was like, wow, unbelievable that we paid this person this kind of money for them to make a mess like that.
That's true. They just sometimes don't even know. You assume that they are professional and have the right certifications, but many of them lack the experience, and they don't want to take risks, like you're saying, within the knowledge of what the information the government provides us. And I've got to go online and take a look at the website and see what it says. If you've got the link, to the IRS, inbox me, and I'll include that in my email going out notifying about this weekend. Because as Brenda mentioned, I want to put in there a prerequisite kind of to the training on Sunday, is for people to go back and listen to Scott Tomer's presentation that he did on taxes in the Empower Me training, which is really good. And then I'll put the link to the IRS website, and then I'll go there myself too as well. And then I'll put an overview of what Sandy on Sunday should be talking about: bookkeeping 101, preparing for your taxes, and allowable travel tax write-offs. And so with that, I think we should get at least provide the information. All we can do in our business is provide the information. And then those who are ready will receive it, and those who won't is for a later date. And that's why a lot of times, don't get frustrated in building your business and in sharing the information, because once you've shared, you've done your part. Now, I do believe in studying to show yourself approved, and so that and that you can keep moving forward. But you can't like Ron Clayton says, you can't push a rope, you can't kiss a girl leaning away from you, you can't climb a fence leaning towards you, and there's some things you just cannot do. and it's true, but you can make yourself attractable, with the law of attraction, where everything is coming. That's why, Ed, I know you was talking about this new group that you had inboxed me on, that cannabis group that may be open to fundraising. And I say, hey, let's go for it. And one thing that's so cool about what Ed does is he's always pushing, he's always pressing, he's always seeing, he's always letting God do whatever he does. He understands the timing of it all. And he doesn't get discouraged. He's just right there every single time. This is it right here. This is it right here. Now, your change is coming, everyone. I mean, our change is in fact, as we would say, the change is here. And we're getting in position, to receive it. But the change is here. And I was just kind of praying and thinking this morning, and it was almost like the change is actually here. It's us getting in position.
Rick,
Go ahead.
it was all of that was just a part of the learning process. To learn your business, and sometimes you gain experience by getting your head knocked, or learning. You learn from it, especially leadership. This is how you learn. Sometimes it's trial and error. Hopefully it doesn't take you out of business, but you learn from that, and then it motivates you to go learn it. So that it doesn't happen to you, and you can pass that along, and you can lead when you're up to snuff with how business actually works. Unfortunately, the culture and the times that we are in now, it's not just the tax people. I mean, the things that are happening at, like, let's say Boeing, for example, with the quality not being there, it's just where we are. And you go to the professionals, I don't care if you're getting your car worked on. I'm so sick and tired of having to go back 2 and 3 times to so-called professionals that you're paying top dollar to, but they're not delivering a top quality product. And that's really what we look for now, are the excellence, those that have the excellence. Sometimes it's not you're not saving money by cutting corner, by going to the cheapest person. And that's one thing I'm looking at too. You really these days, and not even so that get what you pay for, because now sometimes you pay for it and you're still not getting it. And so it's just the times that we are in, and that's why it's good to be connected with partners so you can share that information. And to tell you the truth, the 1%ers, that's all they've done all along. They keep things within their circle, within their group. And so that's why it's so important to fund the partnerships. That's how we get through these times, and that's how we break through. Back to you, Rick.
Man, that's good. That's good. The more you learn, the more you earn. And that's why we are that professional, that you're talking about, Glenn, with that same focus of me knowing what I'm doing as much as within my ability to be that professional, because wealth is a result and a reward of service that we provide, and being in position to be able to provide the service that we, based on the knowledge that we have. And that's why when I listen to you, Darlene, talk, you've got knowledge in the area of travel. And like you're saying, Glenn, most of the stuff we have is from trial and error. Right? But that's one of the price, that's the price of leadership, is to be willing to put yourself out there to learn something and to share it. And then that's what we get paid for. Service. Wealth is the reward of service and providing that service in a professional way. And so, yeah, I mean, we're in a great position. When I was talking to Sandra, she's got a really interesting background of just pulling herself up by the bootstraps, so to speak. And she calls herself a hustlepreneur. And so she's just trying to, make it happen and do this and do that. And as I was talking to her, she's been in bookkeeping for over 20 years and has had a great relationship, with Ron, who passed away, who had the business on home-based business and tax preparation. But she's been partnering with him for a number of years. And then, of course, he passed. And she said, well, let me see if I can buy his business from his family. And that's what she's in the process of doing. But she's got a really interesting background. And, Glenn, it's amazing because in cancel culture, she would be canceled. But God is doing, in cancel culture, we all would be canceled. But God is doing something amazing through us all. And as I was talking to her, she was just telling me her background and history, and when I was telling her about the marketplace ministry, she had mentioned, that she does a marketplace ministry presentation, talking about the widow woman and the prophet that said, go to your neighbor and get the vessels, and as many vessels as you can get, God will fill. And she was just saying, how the prophet taught, how you spell prophet as a prophet, taught her how to profit, to profit. The prophet taught her how to profit. And she has a whole presentation on that experience and relating it to business. I almost said, hey, why don't you teach that? Then I realized we really need to get something specific, but at sometime in the future, we may bring her in to teach and talk on that. In fact, I may have her on the Better World Changers call to talk about the prophet prophesying how to profit. But we're all part of this, like you so adequately described, Glenn, of this cancel culture and
Hey, Rick.
boldly going forward. Go right ahead.
Hey, I believe the scripture says, "Believe his prophets and prosper." So if you're in the presence, and he also
Yes,
says,
sir.
"Where two or three are gathered in his name, I am there in the midst." So technically, as the Spirit hits you, anyone can prophesy as the Spirit delivers. So keep your ears keen, and that definitely is a blessing. And I wouldn't worry about cancel culture, because I think cancel culture is broke. That's why they're sitting at home talking about people. I'm not going to do this. Boycott here. Go to work. You ain't got nothing to do. That's why you're in everybody's business. Go to work.
That is so true, because that's why you got to just continue to do what you're doing. You got to continue to learn. You got to continue to be that professional, because people are going to continue to just talk. And
Rick,
yes,
man,
go ahead.
and don't worry about the other people. The people that are not going to do the right thing are going to be exposed. The false prophets,
And
they will
removed.
be exposed.
And
Right?
removed.
They cannot mess over you and get away with it, because what she didn't tell you was, when we that year of enlightenment, shall we call it, this tax professional person that ran this tax business was actually sponsored by one of our partners in the
Wow.
former company. So what he did, he sat
Wow.
back with his smart self and decided to sign up in the company, then to get all of us in the team to get our taxes done through him, which that's what we found out. He knew nothing about how to do tax deductions, and the people that he had in there to do it. And then they came back with these enormous bills that we were supposed to pay, which you know
What?
what we wound up not paying them
Lord have
anyway. Then
mercy.
he threatens us, and then the next thing you know, he's out of business. He's gone.
And removed.
That's it. You can't you can't do wrong. You cannot mess over us. I'll tell you that.
You
So
know what?
don't go ahead. Don't worry
You are
about
so right.
go.
I have seen so many things happen just in our personal family. And my daughter mentioned this one time. When I see people looking like they're trying to mess over us, I start shuddering for them because I know
Mm-hmm.
what's coming. And I'd be like, have mercy, Lord, because I know that shoe is gonna drop. And my daughter was going through something and went straight to, I know this is not a spiritual call, but went straight to praying. And when she got home, she said, you've been praying
Mm-hmm.
because such and such happened today. And I said, hmm.
You know, and that's why it's so important to pray over your business, to pray over your family, to pray over what's yours, and to pray over other people, and to pray what you want to see have happen, and to put that out there. This is what's going to happen. And if it pray over your meetings, because I started praying over even Sandra, who it surprised me that she had taken over Ron's business after his passing, and it kind of threw me for a little loop because I was expecting Ron, and then I said, okay, should I continue, with her, and then she explained her background, her history, and all that, and she's been doing some things, and I didn't ask her, qualifications and nailing her to the qualifications, just because of like what you're saying, Glenn. Sometimes God will qualify you. you know? And so, but I was asking her, and based on her experience and being in the industry for over 20 some odd years, and really just doing it excellent. But for a minute, I was like, should I continue? Should I not? And then I was praying this morning, and this is really, really important. God brings people to you for purpose and reason. We want to pray over those people. Everybody on this team is basically a deliverer. And I was thinking about that this morning. Everybody on this team is connecting people to action of some nature, of some sort. You know, I want you to think about what I'm saying. God puts us in position, and I believe that applies to everybody on this team, as a connector to someone who is stuck in the mud and has been praying for a way out. And you could put anyone on this call in this position. Here comes this person, right? And full of answers, spiritual and natural. And we make a decision, you know, will I allow God to use me to connect to this person? And will I pray whatever that purpose is, that it be fulfilled and completed over this person? Because
And it goes both ways too. You
it,
got a choice. Everybody had a choice to make there, and what this choice that was made after those who bid on his offer to do their taxes, and we're partners now. As soon as he did that, he shut down his site, and that's when the bottom fell out on it.
and see, and so everybody's got to be obedient. And so my
Yes.
thing is that I don't want to let it down. I don't want I don't want to be the broken chain, the broken loop, in the chain. I want to do my part. And so as I was thinking about, Sandy, I was like, well, I could just cut it, not realizing that she actually, Ron came to me, early in the morning in prayer to for the thing on taxes, because I was praying over who can do it and who should I ask to do it. And so Ron came to me, and then of course Sandy has stepped in. And so, but I was saying, well, should I shut it down or should I just pray? And of course it came down to just pray over her and the message. God gives anointed messages, whether it be, a teaching lesson or whether it be a sermon, whatever it may be. And in the power of prayer, we can actually pray and declare and decree breakthrough. In fact, that's how we should be praying over our business every day and over the people that we come into contact with on a daily basis. And because we're making inroads, we're cutting the water. Like when Brenda and I was going to transatlantic crossing, that ship was cutting the international Atlantic Ocean. And them waves was crashing against the side of the ship. I'm like, will this thing, can it make it? It better. And but we're cutting water, and we got to know it. Like you said, Chantel, it's not a spiritual call, but we always talk spiritual. And we have to pray offensively, defensively, to be postured, against the enemy that would try to come and discourage us and to distract us. Offensively, reaching out and rescuing people that he puts in our path for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that we can understand and comprehend, even our meetings like now and what we all talk about, to comprehend it at a deeper level, than just surface level, and to volunteer to be used by God, even on a daily basis. Lord, today, how would you use me today? To interact with your people, to be.
Rick,
Yes, go ahead.
that was an epic journey that you and Brenda did, that transatlantic crossing. And, it just makes us realize even more so how blessed we are today because of that same journey you guys took, the same distance. When you consider this being the last day of February, the middle passage, okay, it could have been a whole different experience. You know what I mean? So we are we are grateful. Back to you, Rick.
What's interesting is that, we're on that ship and we're like reverse middle passage. we're going to Europe to conquer. That's the attitude of everybody in this business and on this call. That's why I love y'all, because everybody on this call, you got the pioneer attitude. Go west, young man, young lady. Everybody on this call, I want you to think about it. You have a pioneer's attitude. You would be the ones that went west, to overcome all the obstacles and the weather and the hostiles out there, and to make friends and turn the hostiles into friends. You would be that person, because that's the journey that we're on.
Hey, Rick.
Go right ahead.
Hey, how can you be a leader and not be a pioneer? You're the first one there.
How can you? It's the truth. It's the truth.
I got you right there. You have to be willing, because I remember
You have to be willing.
we had some leaders that literally told me out of their mouth, I don't want to be the pioneer. And guess what? They were removed. And then what happened with that? It stepped us up. You see what I'm talking about? Whether you wanted to be that or not, because they said no, he stepped you up. All of us that are sitting here are now sitting in the seat, whether we chose it or not.
That's true.
He said, your turn.
It's
Just
true.
like when we went to convention and we were sitting in that room with Coach Tomer, on his look, right, his retirement. That was just a phenomenal moment. You talking about being a pioneer? That's who we are. Even our children and our children. I'm just
It's
watching.
true.
There's a lot of movement happening in the generations right now. And if your eyes are open, you'll see it. And I mean, it is phenomenal breakthrough generational things that are happening. And you're looking up like, whoa, did you see that? I'm talking about all in the last 2 weeks. I heard Rick and Brenda talking about their children on Monday night. And I came into agreement. And I said, I'm telling you, things are happening not just with us, but our generations. The
Ooh, that's so
blessing is
true.
upon us.
Mm, mm, mm,
So it's upon them.
mm, mm.
And then they're being stepped up. And they will be the ones sitting in these seats. We're talking about the political realm, which we don't discuss, but we got some children that sits in these seats and they do the right things. We went to a meeting here in DuPont with the representatives and all these people, and we had to be in that room. Is anybody here? We had to be in that room, and you look around and the people came up to us. We didn't go up to them. And I said, okay, something's happening that's pretty major here. And you know what? They saw my daughter in the room. They
Mm,
know her name in
mm,
the community.
mm, mm, mm.
They was running up to this girl. I said, I see you.
Ooh, Jesus.
But when it's our turn, don't be silent with that. Show up and be proud and bold in that room. Yes, I was the founder of this organization. I did that work. It is
Mm,
okay to make your boast right there because
mm,
he
mm,
put you in that room for his purposes. Don't
mm.
sit back here all meager like, oh, I'm just scared. Forget that. We are not scared up in here. We are bold and we're coming forward boldly because we're in purpose. Everywhere we go. It's
Mm,
just,
mm,
man.
mm.
Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
Hey, everybody. I just want to ask, what's today's date?
29,
I just want to see who's up on it. What's today's date?
29.
The 29th of
Yeah,
February.
leap
How
day.
many days normally in February? 28. 29, what does that mean? This is a leap year.
Leap day.
2024 is a leap year. If you want to take
Leap
your
day.
shot, take it
This is
today.
your shot to leap 4 years.
If you know, you
Woo!
know. If you understand, you better go.
If you know, you know. You better understand if you want to go. This is your shot to leap forward 4 years. What will you do?
Woo!
If I could
Prophetic.
please,
That's powerful.
That's powerful. This is your shot to
I
leap
would just
forward. Oh, Lord, Father, help us. I was writing this morning and I said, so, I'm working with these other guys and I was doing some things with them and it was just coming to me. We have no idea. We do on this call. That's why you're always called to do something because God has put you in position, right? Folks be like, why am I always called to do something? Why do I always have to take the leadership position? Why am I always pushed out front? Because God has anointed you and chosen you. You are a chosen person. Our thing is to say yes. And so I was just writing this morning as I was just thinking about these other folks that I'm working with. And what came to me was that we are risk takers. And that, just like the pioneer, like you said, and we connect people. And I want you to think about this. We connect people to activity, to movement, to action, to business. We actually connect people. That's one of the things everybody on this call does. You're always connecting people to activity, to movement, to action. God is using us to cause that movement within and among people to purpose. And but not just our purpose, helping them get to their purpose. And that's a service that we get paid for in the spirit and in the natural. When we understand that that's a role and a responsibility and something that we all can do. It's not beyond our capability. other than if we said no. And then of course we just kind of cancel ourselves out, but we don't say no. It's like, okay, in the limited form that Lord, that I may be able to handle, right? Whomever it may be, please move me forward. I'm willing. And like we were saying on the other call, I'm ready now. Lord, please move me forward in whatever ability and area that you're not going to put more on me than I can bear. And he will do that. Reverse middle passage. Yeah, and he will do that. Turn my life, Lord, into, a testimony lesson, for others. And as you was talking, Chantel, I was just thinking, because when people see your children also, your daughter, in the community, they want to know who are the parents that birthed this child. This beautiful child, this anointed child. They want to know, and so they want to see you, and they want to hear you. They want to hear you.
True that.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Rick.
Go
Yeah.
Hey,
ahead.
Rick. Excuse me. I was just going to say that I was going to Chantel. I just appreciate the input, and as you were saying, it's not a spiritual call, but in reality, what's in you come out, and throughout your process of life conversations, and that's the main thing. And I was just listening to a message last night, a record that was saying exactly the same thing, and it's Sarah Jakes. It was just really powerful about how she didn't feel like she was up to the task, but in reality, God has put her there, and God don't make no mistakes, and as far as leadership and moving on and all, it'd be worth listening to something similar to Man in the Mirror or something to that effect. But and then I just wanted to say I thank all of you all for being in community here, leadership, mentoring. It's just good, obviously good to be connected and not a loner, because we know what that's about. But I just I love you all. I just respect you, and I'm just really thankful to be in group.
That is so awesome. Amen. This is more than Surge. Surge is a part of the life lesson in this. Surge is something that gives us reason to connect with others in business and in learning what we can learn, and then move that and connect with others to help others prosper and to be in service to others. But this is more what we do here. And see, that's why we're destined for success, because we understand that this is more than Surge. This is not Surge alone. This is getting courage to pass on generationally. As we step forward in faith, using Surge as an example, that is something that passes on generationally to our kids, and will pass on to their kids. We're setting generational momentum is what we are doing. We're not doing Surge. This is generational momentum. You may say of entrepreneurship, of spirituality, of all those things, right? And by the way, you're picking and choosing what that is. You're defining, but realize that we're setting. That's why when I see Darlene, you in the picture with you and your grandson, the things that we're doing, we're setting generational momentum for them. That's in the spirit realm. When we went and heard Coach speaking, passing the torch to the team, to everybody. And of course, we did the, Glenn led us off with the marching for Coach Tomer's military retirement. Just in that moment, we're setting generational momentum for generations to come, and the families that we affect. and talk to and encourage. Isn't that something? This is bigger than search.
Yes, it's very something. You know, when you were saying that, I just felt it. It's like we were promoted at that second. We were
Mm,
promoted immediately.
mm, mm,
That torch, it was already passed before we even got there.
mm, 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 mm,
We've been promoted a while ago by being faithful, consistent in faith, and believing this mission assignment on the prophecy of this man,
mm,
which is connected to our DNA also. We didn't just fall up in here.
mm,
We
mm,
were brought here for the purposes that are bigger than this company.
mm,
And one thing I'm starting to see lately is the breaking of bread is returning.
mm, mm.
The coming together with the people is returning.
Amen.
Because there's something about sitting down eyeball to eyeball with a human being and feeling their soul and saying it's okay without saying it's okay.
Amen.
So that they can keep going in their mission because it's important. Whether they're in this business with it doesn't matter.
Mm, mm,
But that in life, that is coach's vision, and so are parents as well. That you are okay in this world today and you will make it. By design, that's what you're supposed to do. And all we do is come along beside you and say, how you doing
mm.
today? Keep on going. All is well for you. Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
Rick called it a passing of the mantle.
Mm.
You
Amen.
know, Rick, by the way, that's my great grandson. But anyway,
Wow. Wow.
something just
Congratulations.
popped up across my screen, and it says, when you talk to the right people, you're hiring the right people. And with us in Surge that you all do, Chantel, you talk to the right people to get to where you're gonna go. And when you prosper, you know you've talked to the right person. Back to you.
Repeat that one more time, the statement.
It's when you talk to the right people, you hire the right people.
Mm, mm, mm.
And that's what you would be doing. You'd be hiring somebody to come into Surge, come in under you.
You know, when I was talking to Sandra or Sandy, I was like, wow, okay, how did you come into position to buy Ron's home-based tax business? And why are we talking? I didn't say this, but why are we talking right now? You know what? You never know. You're the door to somebody. You know what I mean? You're somebody's door. And like you said, Glenn, it can go both ways. But you're somebody's door. It's a perspective. And I was like, wow, God may have brought us together to encourage her. Because at first I was like, should I drill you on qualifications, right? Should I drill you on this? Do I, you know how the world does you. And sometimes we miss what God is doing. And so I slowed down. I said, Lord, you put us together. And this is like everybody on this call. You meet people. You don't just haphazardly meet people. You know, there's a plan. Somebody's either, what they say, you're a teacher, or, every person you meet is a teacher. And I was like, wow, how did I meet you? And at first, I said, okay, do I want to open, because it's not Ron. I know Ron. I don't really know you, although she's going to provide me, of course, the presentation and all that. We'll get a chance to review it. But I said, should I go through with that or should I cut? And I said, no, I'm going to trust God for the interaction. And I'm going to speak life. And I want you all to try this and do this. I'm going to speak life into the interaction. Speak life into interactions. As you build your business, speak life into interactions. You know, we have a lot of past baggage that we carry that we want to leave in the past and not take to the future. And
Excuse me,
hmm,
excuse, excuse me, Rick. I have to say that message that I mentioned earlier, it's all over this whole conversation here. I'm serious. It's just almost word for word, passing the mantle and interactions with yourself. It was so much about how we the thing that's actually going on when we're looking in a mirror, a physical mirror, and how she was relating that to a spirit in a spiritual context with relationship with God. And it's just all on this. It's just amazing.
wow,
Appreciate it.
wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Anybody else?
You know, I was just, it's something about this relationship. Now, you
Mm.
can think it's haphazard that you ran into a guy in the military X amount of years ago and you're still together. You know what? Every time I look at
Ooh,
that, I'm like, that it doesn't just that is by design. You
ooh.
meet this guy years and years ago, and here you are, and you're like, I think that's his name on there. And could that be the same guy? And I'm saying to myself, whoa. And then we meet these other couples here. We've been together over 20, I'm thinking it's over 20 years now. And Darlene, it's the same, all of it's the same. Sitting in a room with the person, right back to the same thing, the breaking of the bread, the having the travel party. It was a door that was open. We were at a barbecue at the Tillman's home. And I remember this stuff so vividly because when we got in there and the computer, look, they did their part. Okay. The computer was up. I remember Adrian taking me to that computer and sitting me at that computer and showing me her site. It wasn't our time. But a few years later, it
Wow.
was our time. So you can't count anybody out because you don't know when they're going to come or what the purpose is for them showing up. Like this lady, we're literally going to sit here and we're kind of like having an interview of her while we're watching her do her thing. You don't know what can open up from this.
You have no idea.
But it's an interview. It's no judgment on it. We're not hiring her. It's not like we hired her to do all our taxes. We're having a professional come in to bring us some information. You know, I mean, to me, that's just really powerful for her to even be sick. That is another open door.
You
How
know
is
what?
it?
That's true.
You know what I mean? How is it that this lady and this man has a family that are considering selling this business to this lady because she stepped up and said, "Here I am." Wow.
She
She
said,
just
Rick,
stepped up.
she said, Rick, I was homeless, couch surfing. She said, Rick, I was homeless, couch surfing. And I was like, wow. And God got me an apartment. And God did this. And God did that. And God did this. And I was like, wow. And I was like, man, God connects us. See, when a person, I want you to think about this. When a person has gone as far as they can go, God will send a person to encourage them to keep on going. God will send an event. God will send something that will let them know they're being heard. And that is us. And so we can't look selfishly at it's just me, but we have to look that we have been prepared to be sent, and that's what this is, into the marketplace, to redeem the lost, to encourage the body, to be God's hands, his heart, his feet extended to people. And I was like, okay, I gotta go through with this to run on and see what the end will be. And like you're saying, Chantel, she has been promoted, and you almost can say, who am I to demote her? You know what I mean? Back into position, get back in your place. See, folks, we have the ability to promote people who are willing to receive a baton, a torch, you know, and to make ourselves, allow God to make us visible, not beyond ourselves, you know, where you're just out there, but even just in your quiet prayer, Lord, Father, use me and I'll trust you with the people that you send me. You know, what do you do with the hearts of people that he sends you? Do you crush it? Do you withhold information? Do you multiply it? Do you pray for opportunity? Back to you.
You know, Rick, in my devotional this morning, without me, you can do nothing. You know, and I go into the self-help, the devotion, the motivational speakers and all that. That's them telling us. They're cheerleaders for us. And they're letting us know that we can do it. And if we did not have the faith in God, we would fail. You know, it's just to say that, with that belief, them cheering you on and you having the faith, you can do it. And that gets us through. Back to you.
That'll preach right there. I know. And I was like so close to saying, I don't want to take the risk. And the Lord said, who are you taking the risk? Or who are you? You know, what are you talking about? A lot of times we're looking at people that we should be either testifying to or sharing the business with or whatever, you know, and we feel the impulse. And then in our inner flesh, we make a determination. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to take the risk. And the Lord is saying, you're cutting me short. I'm trying to reach somebody and you're cutting me short. And I'm like, okay, Father, here I am. As we say, here I am. Do what you do. And when you start stepping out there like that, you start walking in your promotion. And that's what you get paid for. When you withhold, spiritual, natural, whatever it is you withhold is withheld. And I'm starting to realize more and more, you know, Lord, let me give. Right? Because when you give, you receive. Back to you, Brenda.
I'm just sitting here listening. It's all good. It is all good. Anybody else want to share or tell us something good before we jump off? Go ahead.
Hey, Rick.
Yes, sir.
One thing you got to understand about what John the Baptist was doing, which is similar to what we're doing, which is exactly what we're doing, is that he cried out to everyone, but only a few actually went to him.
It's true.
But he cried out to everyone. You know, he cried loud enough. Everyone heard him. Everyone saw him. Who's this madman over here eating honey and locusts? What's going on? But the ones that heard him went to him. You know, the ones that listened went to him. The ones that were responded to the call went to him. He didn't go anywhere. He just stood his ground and kept faith and kept his foothold in what he was called to do. And that was to shout to everyone. And God draws those who he calls.
That's so true.
Not us to worry about. It's just us to call. It's on us to continue to call. Whoever responds, hey, that's who was chosen to respond. That's who hears and is able to respond. That's who has the faith to respond. And that's who we work with. You know, that's who believes that they have a dream that can come true. And we do what we can do to help them succeed. That's the nature of this business. That's why I love it.
And that's why we got to overcome any resistance to not share. You know, like Darlene said, when you talk to the right people, you hire the right people. Over to you, Brenda.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were done or not. But yes, that is so true. You figure you cannot go wrong because we are always protected. So when you move on your instinct, you're going to be okay. It's when we sit back and we hesitate, we delay, we don't move, we're missing something. So even if it's something as simple as saying, bless you to someone who sneezes, or just bless you when you're walking through and you see somebody and how's your day? Great. We were walking yesterday and, Rick, I tell him he always pulls people out of their walking coma because he's constantly talking to people. And even yesterday, we was in the store and so Rick, got the gentleman's attention. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? And what his response was? His response was, oh, I'm trying to make it, or something like that, or I'm hanging in here, or something like that.
Mental health.
And and then of course we started thinking like, yo, man, how's your mental health? Because he sounds so defeated, and he sounds so like, I'm just trying to do what I got to do, and we responded back, well, hey, hang in there, and I hear you, and you can do it, just those small little words of kindness. You have no idea how far it goes. Because right now, a lot of people are hurting and they're not asking the questions and they're not saying. So just a small little word of kindness wherever you go, a smile wherever you go, you would be surprised how much that is helping someone. Because we really don't know what people need. But something like that goes a long way.
Hey, Brenda,
So I love the comment. Yes, go right
let me
ahead.
just say real quick, and always catch your attitude to not respond in the flesh, and to define what that response is going to be. Not that they're like they're robots, but that it's going to be a good interaction. That I do have something for them, and that they do walk in peace. Bless them in peace, and catching your attitude to not walk in fear, and to not walk in anticipation that you may have experienced something in the past, or this is going to happen again. This person's like this person's like that. But understand that you actually are walking in an anointing to bring people into a place, and that you can actually create the environment, for that place in anticipation, knowing that they'll walk into it just like you're praying. And, there's power in prayer. And so let this be a time of exercising power in prayer that way. And watch how people, like you said, the mirror, we are a mirror. And if we can mirror out, that goodness, that peace, that blessing, people will see that mirror and mirror it back to us. And that's the anointing that we walk in, because truly we are a mirror. And what we mirror out is mirrored back, to us. And a lot of times we don't realize that we actually control that. And so catching our attitude and saying, okay, I'm walking through this life, and I'm mirroring out thus and thus, positive. Back to you, Brendan.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Go ahead, darling.
I live on the 5th floor of a 7th floor building. And when I get in the elevator sometimes, all the time I get in, I don't care who's in the elevator, I get in. If it's morning, I say good morning, good afternoon, or whatever. And sometimes people, they don't say anything or they grumble, or whatever. But when I get out of the elevator, I always say, have a blessed day. And it seems like it just changes people's attitude. When I see them the next time, because there's so many people in this building, I don't know everybody, and I hardly ever see a person more than once in a day. So the next time they see me, their attitude is so much different. But I always try to leave with have a blessed day. And even when I'm talking to someone on the phone, like if I make a doctor's appointment or something like that, and we end the conversation, I say, okay, have a blessed day. And you can tell their attitude is lifted up when they, when they end the call, and you can tell that in someone's voice. But I never get in the elevator without saying hello, good morning, afternoon, or whatever. And I always get out with have a blessed day. So, and you can tell the change in their attitude. And the next time I see them, they're in a better mood when they see me.
That's the power of your
want to
voice.
say that is so true.
We even feel better you saying it. We feel you. You have just blessed us. That's too good.
Wow, that's true. That's true. And like we say too, when we go out, I know Rick, I heard you say, I know you say it all the time, but I really heard you say it yesterday, that today we're just going to meet a bunch of great people, And when we went out, we were just meeting nice people from all over the world. And even the lady at the gate was like, hey, how are you doing? Telling us where to eat food and all this stuff. So it's all about your attitude and what you attract. And see, Darlene, with you doing that, that's your name. Oh, that's the lady in the elevator that always speaks.
That's the speaker.
They're probably saying, yeah, that's the lady in the elevator with the mask on that always speaks, because I always have my mask on.
Look, at least you.
The lady behind the mask that always speaks. Blessings on everybody.
It's the energy. It's the energy that's coming from you under that mask. It's the spirit of joy and happiness that's coming through from that mask. They're feeling a lot more than what they're seeing.
That's right.
And see, that's what's so important too, is and people really don't go by that half the time. They're not even hearing what you're saying.
That's right. It's
how you're projecting. It's your spirit behind it. It's your energy behind it. And what the kids say now, it's the vibe, So that's what they're going on. And that's what's so important. And even when you're talking to people about the business, remember that. They're feeling you. So when you are trying to convince them because you're one away from $1,000 bonus, they feel that anxiousness and they feel that desperateness. I got to get the sale. So remember to keep those feelings on. This is the best thing that's going to ever happen for you and your family.
Amen.
You really want to come into this business so you guys can see how the income can flow to make your family rich. And when you remember to push that out there, you will get better results than when you're counting your numbers. Start thinking about how great it's going to be for that other person, because everybody needs what we have. And when they start feeling that you genuinely want them to be successful, people will come on board with you more so than not. So that's very important. Your energy, your aura, your, everything that you let out, it's very, very important. People feel that, and Rick's like, everybody always want to tell you their business, Brenda. I don't ask people their personal business. I really don't. But for some reason, they're like, oh, how are you? Where are you?
That's everybody on this call.
And I'm like, okay. But that's all of us. All of us, we have that.
People always want to tell everybody on this call. Everybody want to tell you their business.
Yeah.
That's because you have something for them.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. Rick is something else. Okay. So, anybody else? Well,
yes, Willie's talking.
Guys, we say that again.
Someone was talking. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Tell him to unmute.
I think Willie was talking. Hello.
Oh no, I didn't say anything, but I'm just enjoying it all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. We're enjoying you. Thank you for sharing.
It's really good. Yes, we are. And I love talking, and I so look forward to when we repeat that Jamaican trip. I look forward to when we are all sitting around, and what we really need to do is we really need to get together and plan a group cruise. And I'm saying as far as 9 months, 10 months to a year
Come
out.
on. Yes.
And so we can then have time to, put it in our budget, stay where we want to go, be prepared to fly where we want to fly. And I think that'll be really good for.
It would
and
be
then
so
also,
fun.
it'll be fun.
Alaska.
So we have to do that. Say that again.
With the team.
It's in
Yeah.
Alaska.
And another thing, and we're going to do that, Chantel. We're going to talk about that. We're going to, Darlene, everybody on the call.
Let's do
We're going
it.
to talk about that because what I want to do is not only do I want to open it up to our team, I want to open it up to other people who want to go on a cruise, and I want them to get paid for it. So I know there's a way that we could all pay for our own cruise so we can get our commission back and then still be as a group on the cruise.
That is what happened when we went to the Bahamas. That was one of the purposes of that cruise, was to let people in the business know that you are now going to receive a check because you're booking that in your own back office, and everybody's getting a check. I think I got 3 checks off of that, and 2 of my sisters had checks, and I was excited.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, that's fun. Because we have a lot of people in our team and in the business, they have not gone on a cruise yet because they, for whatever reason, want to go as a group or can't go here or there. And just open it up for everybody to do an inside cabin if you want, whatever fits your budget. And then when we're there, we can go ahead and do a couple of trainings. We can get together with whoever. Yeah, so we could do it all, and I think that'll be a great thing because I really enjoy sitting around and talking, and I want to sit around and yes. So let's do that. Let's all come together and talk about it and text back and forth. Let's find a time frame, right, which will work for folks who have kids because the kids will be out of school. So if it's going to be spring break next year or what. And then that way the kids will be out of school. So if folks want to bring their family, they can. And just have a lot of fun. I think that'll be a fun, because I even have a cousin who has 3 boys and they want to go on a cruise, but I'm quite sure she doesn't want to go by herself. So I would even invite her to that, So there is a lot of people that we know where we could put that together and it'll be a lot of fun. So that just came to mind.
Here.
If I could just mention this, I had looked at. I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
I had looked into the cruise I've been putting off for a couple of years here, and I told Adrian I wanted to go on one. So I looked into the Tony Evans cruise. Of course, that's on Inspiration Cruises here several years ago. I went on one with him and had the privilege of him renewing our wedding vows.
Wow, nice.
Earlier on. Of course, his church was right around the corner from my high school. So I looked, and of course, I heard that he was going on the radio. I heard he was going on one this year, and I looked on that one, compared, and our website has the same cruise, and it's leaving out of California. So I thought it might be something that I could look into, and it's actually quite a bit less than what it's listed as on the website that he has. So that's about that 8-9 month time frame. I'm kind of considering doing that.
Well, that'd be great. And see, a lot of times they increase the price because they want to get paid, and then so they can get their commission, and then also they're going to get free room, free berths and stuff like that. And so, and that's a good thing, because even if we put a group cruise together like this and someone sells, 8 cabins, you get that free berth. So that's what's exciting. You will get the free berth, not somebody else, So, and with us planning it this far in advance, folks can go ahead and upgrade to a suite if they want, So I think that'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So anybody else? No? Did I hear all minds clear? I like to say that. All minds clear. All righty. Well, you guys, I love talking to you. You know we are the most trusted travel team in Surge 365. We will be on the beaches of the world. We're going to find a great cruise that we all want to go, places that we have not been before. We'll keep it under 5 days because I know we'll be having some new cruisers, and they're going to be a little nervous to go really an extended stay. But a 5-day cruise, and you guys who cruise know, it's only 3 days, because the day you're getting on and the day you get off, it's not a cruise day. And so that's only a 3-day cruise right there. So I think that'll be good, and maybe we might even push it to 7 so we can have 5 days on the ship, because those days go so fast. So we'll see what's out there, so you can really enjoy yourself. I think the last one we went on was a 10-day. And again, that was only 8 days, and it seemed like it was so short. And then, of course, we had a couple of days at sea, which I really love those days at sea, because you can kind of sleep in and just kind of relax and don't have to rush to do an excursion off the ship. But we'll do something. I think it'll be a lot of fun, because we are the most trusted team in Surge 365. I want everybody to have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to cruising with everybody on this call. All righty. Bye-bye now.